So I'll just start off by introducing myself. My name is Sebastian Nabrink, as he mentioned, and I'm a data scientist and technical lead at Stena.
Yes, my name is Jessica Andersson, and I work as a data scientist at Stena as well.
So there's a bit of a funny story here, actually. We were actually thinking that we would sit here in the audience and watch, since we're frequent visitors to the data science and machine learning meetup, and so we got an email about this conference and thought, oh, that was interesting, a conference in Gothenburg with AI. Of course we're going. So we bought tickets.
Straight away, because we
yeah.
know how popular the meetup is, so you've
So,
got to be there, yes, as
exactly.
they launch it.
So we had our tickets safe, and the day after, a colleague of ours, Amr Mohammed, who some of you might have seen in media, because he likes to be heard a lot, and likes to talk. So he told us that there's this conference in Gothenburg that we're sponsoring, and maybe do you want to talk about what you're doing? So we were, okay, sure. We haven't done anything like this before, so we were a bit skeptical about the idea, but sure, we'll think about it. So the day after, we thought hard about it, and then he contacted us again and said, okay, are you ready to do this? We were, sure, yeah, let's do this. Okay, we didn't think about it. And he told us, good, great, because I've already signed you up. So the good thing is that we actually decided it on our own, but he has already decided. So
He knows what's good for us.
Exactly. So now we're here.
Yes,
Great.
having our first talk.
Yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of Ahmed, as we mentioned, there's been quite a few media articles about this AI journey that Stena Lines started. It's not too long ago, as we mentioned in our sale pitch. When we wrote the pitch, it was about 10 months. Now it's about a little bit more than that.
And this article here was released about a few weeks after we got started. So Amer, as I mentioned, he likes to be heard a lot, and he has very great vision. So his vision was that Stena Line was supposed to be, or are going to be, the leading cognitive ferry company by the year 2021, which is a very ambitious goal since we have nothing with AI.
So us two are going to solve this problem in
and there was only two of us.
Experience. Yeah, let's go.
So there's no pressure there at all. No. Yeah, but the good thing is that we are very naive. We don't really think about things. We are nerds, so we thought this is a great problem.
Interesting in the field that's expanding, so really wanted to get into this area.
Yeah, and we had no idea what was going to lie ahead of us, which was good at the moment. Else I don't think we would have done this at all.
Maybe not. But yeah, in our sale pitch, if you've read that, it sounds quite, I don't know, it's like a
success
great
story.
Success, yeah. But this talk is not going to be about all the successes we've done. We wanted to share what we've learned, where we've failed, and so on. So
exactly. So one of the things I was actually thinking about during the keynote this morning, when Ericsson mentioned AI. AI is something that is thrown around a lot now these days. But what is AI? So our mission was to implement AI at a ferry company. So what does that even mean?
Where do we begin? What problem are we going to solve? Where are we going to implement AI? We're going to get to a cognitive ferry company by 2021. Where do we start to achieve this?
Yeah, so there were some people involved at Stena that wanted some kind of dynamic pricing. That is something that has been used by airline industry and hotel industry since the 80s, I think. It's been used very widely. But we weren't there, so they think that this might be a perfect situation to use machine learning and AI, or mostly machine learning. AI is just a fluffy word around it that we use sometimes. But it was still a very wide problem. We still didn't really know where to start, since we had no experience.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some consultancy in to mentor us, to get us started. Okay, so where do we begin to implement dynamic pricing? And one of the first things we needed to do, that was creating a forecast, a demand forecast. And that's a bit smaller problem, so we really got started on that. And started creating and building a model, and as we got on, this mentorship become less, and we're doing most things on our own.
Yeah. So there were many forecasting needs, so to say. There were a lot of problems that could be solved by using forecasting. So we saw a lot of potential there, and it was a very specific problem to solve most of the time. So that really got us starting. But we wouldn't be able to get there if we didn't get any mentoring in the beginning, since we didn't have any experience, as we mentioned many times now. So we didn't have anything to rely on. But what we pretty soon realized that we were working on this model.
We had a model, we had one on our computer, we could run it, we could get predictions, but how do Stena Line benefit from what's on my computer? Like, no one can use it apart from us two.
Exactly. How do we use this model? If you read online about machine learning, all you find is a lot of details about how you develop models, how you train models, how you evaluate models. But there's not that much about how this model will fit into an entire system. How is it supposed to communicate with its surroundings? So we got here. This is a bit of a crazy picture. So if you look at it here, we have this is the model. So this is a very small part of the entire system. And as my background is from software engineering, I do have a lot of knowledge about how to build systems, but I had switched focus to building machine learning models. But I soon realized that we need to do something to get this to work. And this was way more than we thought we were going to do in the beginning. And I don't think, as I think Collector Bank taught a lot about this, also that the model needs to live in some kind of a system. So I'm not going to go into any details here. It's just how we do our pre-processing. We communicate with different databases. We have a lot of different databases. We have many old legacy systems that put constraints on how we deliver results. So we have to deliver results in a way they want. And we also have many different BI systems that the end users are using. So they don't want to look at the results until it's there. And something that we also had problems, since there's only two of us, we can obviously not maintain all this the entire time. So our main focus was trying to automate everything we do. We even automated the infrastructure, so we could switch our focus to building the actual models.
And go on with solving other problems,
Exactly.
implementing AI to more problems. So really, to get a metaphor, it's like having a brain, that the model would be a brain, but you can't really use the brain if you don't have the body. So you really need to get it into a bigger picture. Yes, and we kind of lived in a bubble. We're both interested in technology, so we got hands-on with those problems.
We got carried away.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but we soon realized that this guy you see up here, we need someone to use our forecast. We need someone to use our numbers that we deliver. And the easiest way was to actually use the systems that was already integrated. But we needed the users. So they're very important to be able to implement AI at a company, to get someone to use your forecast. Otherwise, or machine learning models, otherwise you're wasting your time. Yes. So, but this has been also a really big challenge for us to be able to involve the users.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gap. Many of you might have noticed this already. As Erik was talking about in this morning, there's different kind of AIs. You have this AI that would pass the Turing test, and here we kind of have a misunderstanding with our users and the hype of AI today, that they think we're going to come tomorrow and we're going to have some type of intelligence that will just solve everything in the company. And we're not there. We're doing these small flower AI things to begin with, at least. So it's been kind of it's been hard to get them on board and to get them to realize what we're doing and that we still need their help with going forward.
Especially if we look at the media attention we got, people at the company there, or all our colleagues, they're looking up what is AI, and they see all these articles about the doomsday, that we all will be replaced and it's the end of humanity. So they don't want to be a part of that. No, they don't want to help. It's like digging your grain, obviously. So I don't blame them. Someone needs to explain to them what machine learning is actually only capable of doing today. I mean, someone actually asked me what happens if you plug the model into the internet. I didn't know what to respond. What happens if you plug a boosted trees algorithm to the internet? Obviously nothing. What it's supposed to do. So there's a very big gap between what people think AI is and what AI actually is. And that is something we're trying to reduce. But it's difficult. It's very difficult.
It is. And it's also been difficult in setting a goal and to actually create a vision together with the users to know what are we able to do today and what expectations can you have on the forecast when we come with the new version tomorrow. They think, oh, it's going to solve everything 100%, it's super smart. Well, it's not really there yet.
No.
So that's also been a challenge to get the expectation and the goals right.
Yeah.
So today we've come far. We've now mentioned a few challenges that we have. We have a good start. We have a platform where we can deploy everything, and if we improve our models where we want to focus now, then we can easily launch this all the way through to our users, and as soon as we get some improvements, we can push this into production immediately because we've automated the whole system.
Exactly. So we have a really good foundation, and as it said in the pitch, that we got everything to production in 10 months, and it's been a year now almost. But we do have things in production. Not everyone is using it yet. We still get a lot of sales to do. And that is something that we also need to think about the next time, that you really need to involve the users early on, so they're with you the entire time. Because it's a lot harder to involve them at the end, because they don't understand what you're doing, essentially. We also expanded a lot in our team. We were 2 from the beginning, but now we're 10 in the team, and we have many different areas. We focus on the forecasting for guest volumes and things like that, and we have also the freight side, since that is a big part of our business. And we also have the conversational bot Stena that we have a small team working on. And we're expanding and trying to figure out new ways of using machine learning in our business and day-to-day business.
But this also comes with a challenge. How do you, when we were 2, we were sitting by the same computer, programming everything together. So sharing knowledge between us was really, really easy. But how do you do that when you're 10 people?
Yeah, it comes with a lot of challenges. Yeah,
yes.
It does. This is a very short talk. We're just going to sum it up with a little conclusion here. That when we started out, we were actually a bit scared of this area, since you hear all these talk about you have to be a PhD to be able to do this. We don't have any PhDs, not at all. We're just 2 nerds that likes challenges and likes to solve actual problems in real world.
But something that we benefit really from, that was the mentorship. It was very important to get us started.
You need someone to hold your hand.
Yes, to begin with, to get some kind of direction, know what you're going to Google on for your next hour or something. You need to be interested in learning new things. It's a field expanding, and there's new stuff coming all the time. So you
need to be prepared to spend a lot of time studying if you don't have any experience. So that's a sense. That's what we've done a lot. The few
and
months.
If you're going to implement this at a company, you're going to hit into a lot of challenges that you didn't predict, but you will solve it, tackle them one by one.
Yeah.
A well-defined goal is the next thing that we've learned that is very, very important, and that is communicated to all parts that's involved in the solution.
And it's need to stay static, since the goal has changed a lot during our journey, which makes it very difficult for us, because machine learning is very narrow in what it solves. So if you create a model that solves a specific problem and you change that problem that you want to solve, it doesn't really generalize that way. So we had to redo a lot of work, so a well-defined goal from the beginning that stays the same till the end that would have helped a lot.
And to remember that it's more than just a model. The model is the key thing, but to get it running at your company, then it's much more to think about.
I actually got a little jealous when the guy from Collector Bank talked about how he developed the model and then left it over to a software engineer that implemented it. I also want that. But then he told me it was a very bad idea. So I'm glad we didn't do it.
Excited end users, that's good. So if you can narrow that knowledge gap and get them on board so they can help you, they have a lot of domain knowledge and they're going to use your algorithm, and to get them to use it, they want to understand how it works. And
use your users as evangelists that we talked about, that we mentioned in the previous talk. An evangelist, so if you can get one user very excited about it, and you can get this user to see a value in a model or in what we solve, this user will probably spread this to others. And it's a lot easier to get that way in and trying to go out as for us and trying to sell it, since they don't know us. And also the vision. The vision is very important, but it can also be a trap. The vision is something that made it possible for us to do this in the beginning at all, since all top management got really excited about AI. It sounds really cool. It is cool, I can't argue with that, but it also has a downside that some people might get afraid. So it's needed, but it's also something that could easily break everything. So you need to be very careful.
And to conclude, as our sale pitch says, doing is everything. So just get started. If you don't do anything, you will have nothing. So try, you will fail, you will hit into bumps, but you'll get there.
And reiterate.
And it's very fun. If you haven't tried it. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
So that was everything.